Carmen Balber.
Will be soon.
Very soon.
We're going to probably have to shorten them just a little bit, but please proceed.
I'll try to be brief. I'm the Executive Director of Consumer Watchdog, and we appreciate the time and thought you put into this. And the fact that the board says it's listening, I want to flag a few things. The number one complaint that we hear from members of the public who've complained to the board about being harmed or losing a loved one is that their complaint was closed without an interview. And I want to flag that this complainant liaison unit, which we support, is missing two critical factors. Number one, statutory authority. It needs to be in the law, not just that this current board wants to create that unit and the next one might change their mind. Number two, that it is missing a mandatory interview with a family who files a complaint before the complaint is closed at the triage unit. That's not there and it needs to be included. Number two, Senator Smallwood-Cuevas mentioned some of the recent stories that are in the news. And the second complaint we hear most is that patients go into a doctor, are harmed, lose a loved one at the hands of a doctor, and had no idea that the doctor was currently under investigation or in fact was already on probation for causing harm or death to another patient. This legislature passed a law that required disclosure of some instances of probation, including sexual misconduct. That law needs to be expanded to include disclosure of current probation for serious harm to a patient. And I will just add on that we fully support the funding increase, a public board member majority to shift the culture at the board. And the change in this current split right now that is crippling investigators and attorneys who never speak to each other until the investigation is handed off. Those two functions need to be in the same house. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening.